Hey guys, Crispin Pally guest hosting for Barry today. We're on Dale Hollow Lake. This lake is home of the world record smallmouth bass, but it's not just smallmouth. This lake's full of giant largemouth, big spotted bass. We're gonna go out early fall and see what we can get done. Stay tuned because Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
There you go. Pulling hard. Come here. Come here. Come here. What a way to open a show. I wish they were all this easy. Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Fox Sports Outdoors. I'm coming to you live. I'm Crispin Pally. I'm guest hosting for Barry. I'm on Dale Hollow Lake. It is early fall. It's one of my favorite places to fish. I haven't been here in a long time, but it is absolutely gorgeous here. Very serene, very peaceful. The backdrop here is about as pretty as anywhere you'll ever fish, and it's full of these big jokers right here, these big old brown fish. It's what the lake's known for. It's home to the world record smallmouth bass of 11 pounds, 15 ounces. Think about that. It's a 12-pound smallie. Let that sink in for a second. But here's the thing. We're gonna run around here today. I'm gonna try to figure out how to catch these big smallmouth. There's big largemouth here too. The lake's full of grass and rocks, and it's a really cool place, very diverse. And while I'm out here catching these bass, we're gonna send you around your local region for this week's fishing reports from your local rivers, lakes, and bays, both fresh and saltwater, from the rest of our team of insider reporters. So guys, I've never opened a show like this. I'm jacked about it. Stay tuned. I'm going to send you to the FSN studios. I can't even talk. I'm so excited for your weekend planner.
Hello everyone. The Salooner tables are listing the conditions for both days this weekend as fair. Peak morning activity should begin a little after sunrise, and the best evening times are forecast to take place at 8:23 on Saturday and 9:10 on Sunday. The sun will rise at 7:42 and set at 6:40. And nights will feature a moon that is 58% visible. We're coming right back with fishing reports from around the area. Plus, I'll return with 2014 Bassmaster Classic champion Randy Howell on this week's Ask the Pro feature. Stay with us.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Motor Guide, because accuracy matters. Lowrance Electronics, celebrating 60 years of fish finding excellence. Find, navigate, dominate. And Excite Technologies, powering the world forward.
Old finesse jig. He has ingested some crawfish. You know, Dale Hollow is a pretty interesting lake. It's very diverse. By and large, it's a big lake, and it's a deep lake, and it's a clear lake. But within that, there's a lot of different opportunities to fish a bunch of different ways, and it's very driven by the variables, by the weather, by the conditions. Right now, you know, it's a weird time of year. They're between summer and fall. They're not committed to the fall. There's some out chasing the bait pods around on the main lake and in the creeks, but they're really just scattered. It's a bite here and a bite there. So the cool thing is it's kind of a new adventure every day right now until you get your deal dialed in. There's one. Pitched that drop shot in there on the end of that tree. Hooked him right between the eyeballs. You know, that ain't what I'd call a big one, but that is a first one, and therefore he's a good one. You know, these banks on this lake are real steep, and the water's falling down, so that makes those treetops that lean from the bank out over that deep water just premium real estate. And I was going down this bank throwing a topwater bait, and I came to this treetop that just looked perfect. So I pitched that drop shot in there, and first pitch in there, one eats it. I'm gonna put this guy back. I got a hunch now that I may kind of change the way I was gonna do things and may spend a little bit more time on that drop shot. I'm gonna send you for your local fishing report.
This week's Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi freshwater fishing action is sponsored by Tween Waters Inn on Captiva Island, Florida. This historic Gulf Coast destination offers motel and cottage accommodations, full resort amenities, 2 restaurants, and beach access. The Tween Waters Marina also is your doorway to great fishing on the Gulf of Mexico and Pine Island Sound. Now, the brisk morning air of autumn has got temperatures dipping into the 50-degree mark across our 3-state region, and this has the fishing continuing to improve. It also just makes it a pleasure to be on the water this time of year. In Georgia this week, you've still got a shot at some fast angling action for blue catfish before the coming winter shuts that down. The place to be is the Etowah River in the northwest corner of the state. Concentrate on the portion of the stream from Altoona Dam down to the Coosa River junction in the city of Rome. Look for these fish in the deeper spots along the stream and allow your cut bait to drift through any of these holes using a light sinker. Also, try this same tactic anywhere you encounter an undercut bank. Most of these blue cats are going to be less than 10 pounds, but they're plentiful and just right for a fish fry. Over on Alabama's portion of the Ten Tom Waterway, the crappie are schooled up and biting along the creek channels and the tributary arms of Aliceville Lake. In west central Mississippi, the oxbow crappie action is also hot on 1,000-acre Wolf Lake near Yazoo City.
There's one right there. There he is. Old finesse jig. He has ingested some crawfish. Here's the thing. When you're on a lake like this and the water's being drawn down, that cover is such a premium. And when you've got a day like this where there's not a lot of wind, they don't just typically get on the rock banks. So what I've done is kind of keyed in on just the treetops, and it's certain kind of banks. This is a bluffy type bank with some shale rock and some chunkier stuff. I haven't caught anything today on just gravel banks. And what I've done is I'm running from creek to creek to creek, and I'm just looking for a certain type of rock with trees on it. And I picked this finesse jig up and fished it way out here. I'm sitting in 26 feet of water, and that fish bit in probably 20 to 25 feet. And all I'm doing is crawling that jig around, or I'm throwing a drop shot in those treetops. Got a little cloud cover. When the clouds pop out and the wind blows a little bit, go over those same treetops with a topwater bait or a spinner bait. I'm gonna put this guy back. I'm gonna move on down to the next tree, get set up again. Oh, big smallmouth, big long smallmouth. Ate that sexy dog walking it over there. I'm sitting in 103 feet of water. You know, one of the things about Dale Hollow that you just can't, I don't think you can explain in words, and I honestly believe we'll have a hard time showing you this on film. There's one. Is not only is the fishing great, but this lake is just beautiful. I mean, it's just beautiful. Oh, big smallmouth, big long smallmouth. Ate that sexy dog walking it over there. I'm sitting in 103 feet of water, and I am throwing a topwater bait over some really shallow rocks up here. They're so shallow I can see the top of them. And there's not a lot of places on earth where I throw a topwater bait in 100 feet of water. And you know, one of the things, what I was going to say before I was so rudely interrupted by this smallmouth, is that the sheer beauty of this place is worth the trip alone. These are just a huge bonus. I've been blessed to fish all over the country, and there's not many places where the fishing's this good, this consistent, and it's coupled with a place that is so peaceful and so beautiful like Dell Hollow. You just don't see, right now, I've seen one other boat on the lake today, and the backdrop, the scenery, the leaves are starting to change colors. I'm about 2 weeks early from this place being the most beautiful place you've ever seen. I'm gonna put this dude back. I'm gonna send you for your local fishing report.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the state of Mississippi, where fishing fun is year-round and where the Mississippi Gulf Coast offers some of the best inshore angling and offshore adventures anywhere in the world. So start your fishing trip in a true South, Mississippi. Well, fishing along the Gulf Coast is really heating up in that fall fishing action. Water's starting to cool down, the days are beautiful, bright sunny weather, not quite as humid, and the fish are really on fire. I was talking to my son Eric over in Mississippi. He says the chunking for yellowfin and blackfin tuna has been outstanding. It's as good as it can get around the anchored strip boats well offshore. Eric says also that the redfish are all over the coastal bays. These are from low slot fish to 30 pounders. They really just can't get any better than it is right now for fall redfish in Alabama. They're catching them all sizes from slots to big bulls. These are fish from 4 to 30 pounds. The hot spots in the Mobile Bay area have been Point Clear, Weeks Bay, and the Blakely River, the mouth of the river there. Triple tail fishing continues to be outstanding in Mobile Bay around the floating debris and channel markers. And in Georgia, again, it's redfish. It's that time of the year for the fall redfish run. And St. Simon's Island has been excellent. All along the Bear Island shoals have been very good. Sometimes that east wind can mess it up a little bit, but these fish are being caught in 4 to 10 feet of water, and they're all sizes from slots to bulls. Well, that's it for the coast. Get out in the water and take a youngster with you when you go.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's Tennessee Kentucky Fishing Report. This week's report is brought to you by Bass Mafia. Bass Mafia has become known as the industry leader in technical tackle storage. It doesn't matter what your needs are, whether it's an individual weight, terminal tackle, line storage, soft plastics, they have an option to suit your needs that'll last a lifetime. Check them out at mafiaoutdoors.com. Guys, we're finally getting a little bit of fall here in Tennessee and Kentucky. There's a lot of boat traffic out here today. You might can hear the waves crashing around me, and that's a good sign. That means the fish are biting. There's a few places right now that are gonna be better than others. Anywhere on Kentucky Lake should start getting red hot. The bass fishing, topwater bite, lipless, crankbait bite, crappie fishing is gonna be awesome. They're gonna start really bunching up and congregating on wood cover that's on those transition areas. And the catfish bite is off the charts right now. You know, here's the deal. Just about everywhere you go, the way you fish right now is going to be the same, and it's all centered around those fish moving shallow, following those pods of bait. I spent a few days on Douglas Lake in East Tennessee the other day, and it is just on the verge of getting hot. But right now, I'm going to Kentucky Lake, I'm going to Percy Priest, I'm going to Lake Cumberland, and I am going to throw a topwater bait for bass, and I'm going to fish wood for crappie, and I'm going to fish on the bottom for catfish. Guys, it's beautiful, the weather's awesome, the trees are changing colors, and the fish are biting.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than a boat, it's a tracker. Mercury Marine, go boldly. And Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there.
That sucker just keeps coming out of the water. That right there is a toad on the old walking bait, the sexy dog. Oh God, that one smashed it. Looks like a big one too. Got one hook in him. Come here, 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 come here. Ah! That sucker just keeps coming out of the water. That right there is a toad on the old walking bait, the sexy dog. I'd made a long cast going down this bank. We got in here, like, the clouds are over the sun and it's clouded up, and we got a little bit of chop on the water, and it just looked like a perfect time to pick up a topwater bait. And this is what you come to Dell Hollow for. This is a world famous smallmouth fishery. Probably no argument, this is the best smallmouth fishery in the South. And it's where the world record's from, and this is a big one. This one right here, I don't know, this sucker right here, he's well over 4. He's probably closer to 5. He's, I mean, thick and long. And I got on a windy bank like I was talking about earlier with that chunk rock and just walking that walking bait around, and he bit it, and oh, I'm gonna put this fella back. Let's go try to catch us another one. Man, they fight so hard.
Hey folks, it's time for your Carolinas Report, this week brought to you by the Dead Dog Saloon. You know we're open 7 days a week for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the fall is the time to be here. It's beautiful. The crowds are slowed down. You can enjoy it. Come out, we're open 7 days a week, and here it's always about the food, the view, and the music. And I tell you what, let's move over to the freshwater. So many things going on over there as well, but I tell you what, it's been really slow. We've had a warm fall, and a lot of the lakes temperatures are still pretty high. I've talked to the guys up on Lake Jocassee. It's been really slow up there. Talking to the guys on Strom Thurmond Lake, it's been really slow on there. We've got some cold nights coming. We've had some cold nights last week. It's going to start dropping. Get ready. The stripers and the bass are going to start getting in that fall pattern. Start to look for those fish to move back into the coves as that bait goes in there. You can have a great time as the fall starts to progress. Also, the crappie are probably the one go-to thing right now. Early mornings on those crappie piles, if you can get out on a good brush pile, they're hanging up tight to the top of the brush pile. Get down with some jigs or some good live bait. My good buddy Greg Kerrigan up in Charlotte has been doing it every weekend and continues to send me some great reports. Thank you, Greg. But you've got to get out there early in the morning. Those fish, as that sun comes up, are moving down to the bottom of those brush piles. But early in the morning, you can catch them on top. This has been your Carolinas Report, brought to you by the Dead Dog Saloon. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
There's one. Switch to that swim bait. Nice little smallmouth. You know, I caught a big one down this bank earlier. Good night. You talking about having one hook? I caught a big one down this bank earlier on a topwater bait, and I went back down it a few more times, and with no luck. And I had a couple actually follow my topwater bait out and not eat it. So I switched to this rage swimmer on a belly blade, just kind of fishing around these treetops where the little rock transitions are. And that's a real key, is 2 places where different kinds of rock meet. You know, there's some big shale bluff rock, and then there's some little slides where there's some little smaller rock. And anytime you find 2 of those places, especially if there's a tree or a piece of wood there, it's money for stuff like this. And I'm just swimming that swim bait around. I'm gonna let this fish go, and I'm gonna tell you about, we're in the Salina area of Dale Hollow, and not only is the fishing incredible, but the accommodations are too. The people here are so friendly. I'm staying at Dale Hollow Marina, and I highly recommend that. They've got cabins, they've got houseboats, they've got a nice dock, everything you need. You don't ever have to leave here once you get here. But on your way in here, stop in and see my buddy Stephen Hedrick at Dale Hollow One Stop. He's got all your tackle, all your gas, ice, everything you need, and he's got some of the best barbecue you've ever eaten. So Salina, Tennessee, Dale Hollow Lake, Dale Hollow Marina, and Dale Hollow One Stop.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday night at 6, or catch the repeat airing Sunday morning at 8:30. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button. And see lots of our how-to and product videos by selecting the how-to button. Join our online fishing community. Just click the like button on our Facebook page for access to daily posts with lots of fishing news, videos, and frequent giveaways. And stay up to date with all the latest fishing information and photos by following our Twitter feed. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Luz, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Gene LaRue Bass Baits and Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leaders in soft plastic lures innovation. And Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's jump right to your Ask the Pro question for this week. Jerry wants to know, is keeping quiet really important in bass fishing? For an answer, we checked with the 2014 Bassmaster Classic champion, Randy Howell.
This is a great question. Is keeping quiet really important in bass fishing? My dad always said it was, and I've learned now that my boys are 10 and 14. I've always said that to them too because I didn't want them to be loud because I was trying to concentrate myself. A lot of times the fish can't hear you, but your dad don't want to hear you if you're a kid in the boat sometimes. That's where that came from. But I think really being quiet in the boat as far as slamming compartment lids or dropping your pliers or stomping on a cooler lid down, those vibrations travel through the water like, sound, and they magnify. That's what fish hear. Your voice, they can't hear that at all, I don't think. So don't worry about talking loud. Just don't make any noise on the floor of that boat.
Thank you, Randy. If you want some help from one of the pros, go to foxsportsoutdoors.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit a question. Now it's time for the Costa Catch of the Week, where someone wins a new pair of sunglasses.
Here's this week's winner in the Costa Catch of the Week contest. Gracie Lakin of Brunswick, Georgia, with a 40-pound redfish she caught in the Atlantic. To enter the contest, go to foxsportsoutdoors.com, click on the Costa Catch box on the right side of the homepage, and follow the instructions to send in your big fish photo. You could win a new pair of Costa sunglasses. You can see all their Costa styles on their website by going back to our homepage and clicking on the Costa logo. All of their styles and frames are in one place. Let me tell you about the gear you need to do what you saw me do on Dale Hollow Lake. Number one is a Strike King Sexy Dog. It's a hard bait. It's a walking topwater bait. It is what I caught the most and my biggest fish on. Very easy to use and a tool you definitely need in your arsenal. Number two is the Tour Grade Belly Blade. It is what I would rig my soft plastic swim baits on. It's what I would fish behind that topwater bait. When I came to a treetop or a lay down on one of those rock banks, I would take this and throw that swim bait through there if one didn't eat my topwater bait. And number three, a Bass Mafia money bag. This is the coolest tackle storage option on the market. When I got ready to run up here, I hadn't been up here in 7 or 8 years. I threw all my stuff in these money bags. Has a Ziploc type seal and it has a zipper. Guaranteed to stay dry, hair-proof, puncture resistant, Bass Mafia money bag. Hey guys, I want to take a minute and talk to you today about stuff that matters. We live in a time and in a place and in a society and in a world where every time you turn on the news, there's a shooting, there's a crime. It's perilous times. And what I want to encourage you to do is to spend some time sharing the things in life that bring you happiness and joy with others. Is it the outdoors? Is it the beauty of God's creation? Is it the serenity of a day on the lake? Is it your faith? I think we live in a time when it's up to us to help elevate, to help bring light, to help spread joy and hope. So in a day and a world such as this, share what gives you hope, share what gives you joy. That's the stuff that matters. Hey, thanks for joining me today as I got out and hunted down these early fall Dale Hollow smallmouth. I hope you learned something. I hope you feel like you could come here and kind of go to the type places I did and be successful. And this is a beautiful destination I highly encourage anybody to come to. If you love to fish for smallmouth bass, there's nowhere on earth like Dale Hollow. Barry will be back with you next week. Thanks for hanging out with us. God bless.